Hey there guys, it has been quite some time, but I can get into that in another video. I've decided that in honour of the announcement of a 19th Tera type for the Scarlet and Violet DLC to do a rainbow themed shiny hunt. This is based on the newly revealed Tera icon, which incorporates a rainbow, which under current speculation may incorporate all the types like Arceus did in Legends Arceus, or even a null type where there's no super effective damage taken or given. Anyway, without going too much into it, there are roughly 7 main colours on the icon as is seen in rainbows. That means that we need to get a shiny coloured in green, blue, purple/violet, pink, red, orange and yellow. In addition to the choice of colour for each shiny, once I choose a Pokemon to hunt and create a sandwich for that Pokemon, I am locked into that hunt. This means that if I choose, for example, a Psyduck for blue, and I find a Wugtrio during it, it won't count towards the colour. However, during any hunt where I find a Pokemon that is not the colour I'm currently hunting for, so say I'm looking for a Psyduck, and I find a Mareanie, which is pink, I would have to give that Pokemon away at the end of the video. I hope that makes sense. If not, we can clear it up as we go along. Anyway, let's get into it. So I had a look at my map and found a fat mouse outbreak quite near Levincia, so I decided to head over to the East Providence area. This area is full of sprawling hills and, as you can see here, beautiful landscapes. Something I'm trying to do in these videos is give you a bit more perspective of the landscape of these areas, rather than just jumping from place to place. I hope it makes sense throughout the course of the video. It took me quite a while to knock out 60 of these guys. It turned to nightfall before I could. After I'd knocked out 60, I went and made my picnic, made my sandwich for my outbreak. Setting up the sandwich, as you can see here, I have quite a lot of Herba Mystica just from doing lots of raids in preparation for the DLC. After creating my sandwich, you can see in the top right, I got my Sparkling, Title and Encounter boosts. And I sat down ready for a long hunt. I was prepared for sitting here for hours and oh, there it is. After only 5-ish seconds after making the sandwich, we got ourselves a little green fat mouse. Donk it on the head with a Pokeball and time to catch it. For each of these guys, I'm going to try colour match their shinies to a Pokeball. However, I do quite like catching them in Premier Balls, so where I can, I will try and catch them in Premier Balls as well. It just depends on the shiny. Since that was quite a quick hunt, being 5 seconds, I would say it's an average time, but as we move towards the beach, you can see there are plenty of Slowpokes around this beach. I figured that I could have a look around here for a different colour, maybe one that's on the rainbow, since I'm not locked into anything as I made this sandwich specifically for Marl. However, I could not tell which Slowpokes were shiny and which were not. Have a look at these two Slowpokes side by side. I'm going to give you guys 3 seconds to choose which one you think is shiny. Just point left or right. Okay? 3, 2, 1. If you chose the Slowpoke on the right of the screen, you'd be incorrect, as neither of them are shiny. I didn't find a shiny Slowpoke during this time, as they are impossible to see. If you do have a shiny Slowpoke from this game, congratulations to you. After my sandwich ran out, I chose to head to Fury Falls, looking for a yellow shiny this time. One of my favourite Pokemon that are in Scarlet and Violet that I've not actually managed to get shiny yet. That shiny Pokemon is Growlithe, and so I set up a fire-type sandwich, as you can see here by the boosts, and I got to work. As Growlithe spawns in packs along with an Arcanine and 3 other Growliths, it was quite easy to spot where they were inside of this laggy terrain. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to hunt in Fury Falls before, but it is a bit of a nightmare. They spawn up everywhere, and I feel like I'm constantly despawning as I run because I can't really see where I'm going. I decided that I was just going to do a big circle and head back towards the entrance and do another lap, when I ran into a group that I thought I'd already encountered. However, among them was a golden Growlithe, and I was ready to tear him away from his family. Now, I figured that an Ultra Ball would probably fit this Growlithe best, as it works with either him and Arcanine. So I threw an Ultra Ball and caught it very easily. And just like that, 2 of our 7 colours are already complete. I decided, since I still had quite a bit of time left on the sandwich timer, that I would head down to the south area of the map and look for a Pokemon that was integral to the beginning of the story. After arriving at Pokepath, I head through to the Inlet Grotto, where there were plenty of Hounders all over the area. They were a big nightmare to get past, and I had to fly over most of them. However, after about 3 or 4 minutes of running in and out of Inlet Grotto, I came across my blue doggo. This meant that not only had we found our 3rd Rainbow Shiny, we'd also found our 2nd doggo back to back with Growlithe. As I'd only had a few minutes left on my fire sandwich, I was quite lucky to actually find this guy when I did. I decided to put him in a dive ball, as I thought that matched his colours pretty well, being blue. I'm pretty sure I already have a fully evolved Houndoom, so this guy's going to stay as a Hounder. Here we have our green Marill, yellow Arcanine, and blue Houndour. Onto our orange Pokemon. I decided that I kind of wanted to hunt a Pokemon that I've actually never had shiny. At least in the mainline games, I've had plenty in Pokemon Go. I decided to go to the East Providence in order to hunt Pokemon's mascot, Pikachu. Therefore, after arriving in East Providence, I made my electric type sandwich and got to running around looking for an orange Pikachu. However, it was during this hunt that my colour blindness really affected me. See, I can't see orange when it's overladen with green, and so these Pikachus were appearing out of absolutely nowhere. Considering they're quite small and hard to see, it meant that I was constantly checking and battling almost every Pikachu I came across, especially when they were sitting in the shade of a tree. They just look orange, or at least darker than a regular Pikachu. However, as I had the inability to see any Pokemon, I had about as much chance of seeing it as Ron Burgundy.
Because I'm blind.
This was especially evident during the encounter with this Pikachu here. It's a completely different colour. I thought I'd encountered a new species of Pokemon. Now, after 1 sandwich turned into 2 sandwiches, into 3 sandwiches, I'd spent almost 2 hours looking for this yellow rat. And to tell you that it was taking a toll on my eyesight is, to say the least. I'd started to feel ill around sandwich 1 because my eyes had begun to hurt, as I'd done all of this in 1 sitting up until now. However, after a grueling 2 hours, I finally spotted a Pikachu that did look slightly different from the rest, and I found this little orange bundle of joy in the grass. I had to immediately save, as I wasn't going to lose this thing. Now, you can argue all day that this thing isn't orange, but I'm going to say it is, as I'd rather pour hot sauce directly into my eyes than hunt another orange Pokemon. So it's up to me, and I'm going to say he's orange. With that, however, we do have another successful hunt. I did choose the fast ball for Pikachu, as the little lightning bolt on the top of the ball I think fits his tail quite nicely. Although the process of completing the colour orange had provided me with about as much enjoyment as downing a bottle of rubbing alcohol, my spirits were at an all-time high, and I decided that I was going to go and hunt a pink shiny with the remainder of my electric type sandwich. This meant that I wasn't locked into hunting it, but I wanted to hunt it nonetheless at some point in this video. So with that, I headed over to Cortondo and began looking for a pink Mareep. Although these guys were much easier to see, it didn't stop me from just running into any obstacle that I could see, whether it was a rock or a fence or a truck. I think my eyes have lasting damage after that Pikachu hunt. Now, although you could say I would have saved a lot of time by staying in the same area that Pikachu was and hunting for a Pawmi or a Pawmo, I'd sooner crawl on glass than spend any more time in those grassy hills. As you can see, we now have our 4 Pokemon and Pikachu taking up the orange slot, leaving us with only 3 shinies left to find. Now, with the moon high in the sky, I decided to move on to our next Pokemon. It was quite close to Cortondo, being in the ruins near the mountains, and a certain YouTuber's favourite companion. M&J TV's best friend. I decided to hunt him. I have no idea why he loves this Pokemon. Personally, it kind of gives me the creeps. But yeah. So Drowsy turns a kind of pinkish purple violet-y colour. And so I guess you can see where I'm going with this. As he kind of reminds me of Parma Violets, I'm going to class his shiny as Violet for this hunt. Although half of it is kind of purplish and the other half's quite pink, I reckon together it makes a nice violet shiny. However, tragedy struck during the start of this hunt, as I'd accidentally ran directly into a shiny fletchling, which as you can see is not violet. If I'd hunted this earlier, and I just came straight here, it could have saved me 3 hours of Pikachu hunting, as it's clearly orange. However, as was determined at the start of the video, any Pokemon that is not the colour that I'm hunting will be given away at the end of the video. Now, at the end, I'm going to put in a catchphrase, and all you have to do is watch to the end of the video and comment that down below, and the first person to do that, and I see their comment, I will trade you out this shiny fletchling. Now, night had fallen again during this sandwich. I had about 5-10 minutes left on this one, and I could see Drowsy's running all over the place, but I hadn't been successful yet, and there I saw him. Our violet shiny, pinky purple shiny, that we're going to class as violet, since it seems a bit too pale for me to call pink. I decided that a heal ball fit him best, just because the pinks and purples match up relatively well. And just like that, we had our 5th rainbow colour. I'd quickly decided to head down to Alfornada while the sandwich was still active. I had a run around and was hoping to find a red Meditite, when, after around 30 seconds of hunting, I bumped into this guy. I thought it was perfect and the stars aligned. It seemed that I'd had another 2 shinies in one sandwich, mirroring the Growlithe and Houndour from earlier. I obviously had to catch this one in a Premier Ball as it fits its colour scheme perfectly. And just like that, our penultimate rainbow coloured shiny was caught. Both Meditite and Drowsy were also sporting marks. Mark shinies are something I collect now and then, but I'm not going to go out of my way and hunt them all directly. Although sometimes they fit quite well, however the uncommon mark is not one that we look for. As you can see here, the fletchling, unfortunately it didn't have a mark, however its jolly nature could be a good one to give away. And with that, we headed up to our final destination of the video, all the way up to the northern woods, the autumnal woods at the top of the map. I can't really remember the name for this area. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna. I decided that I was going to hunt a Heracross. And so after putting way too many herb sausages on a sandwich, I'd completed it and I had my fighting, encounter, sparkling and title powers. After running around for about 20 minutes, I'd actually come up with nothing so far, and I was worried it was going to be a repeat of Pikachu, taking me about 3 sandwiches to get. However, as luck would have it, even though it was raining and the worst conditions to end our rainbow hunt on, I'd managed to run round this lake and accidentally run directly into our pink Heracross. As we can see here, he's nice and pink, and he will definitely be a good closer for this video. However, tragedy struck when Heracross hit me with a physical contact move. I didn't realise that Breloom still had Effect Spore, even though he's been in my party for about 6 months. This meant that Heracross was poisoned and came to an inch of his life. After the fight, I made sure that Breloom didn't have that ability anymore by giving him an ability capsule. This means that his ability would change, and while he's still leader of the party, I can never look at him as the same. However, it wasn't the end of the story for Heracross, as we can see here. I did contemplate using the Master Ball, however, I thought of a better strategy. Running away. I'm sure Thorfinn would be very proud of me, as I decided that I had no enemies, and I'd rather just run away and re-encounter the Heracross than accidentally knock him out. You can call it a fake out, a cop out, whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I'm not losing a shiny Heracross. However, he did get confused and almost knocked himself out. I don't know what the chance of that was. He definitely would have knocked himself out because of Megahorn's high attack stat. I decided to throw a Premier Ball, as I couldn't really think of any pinkish balls that I liked that would match him, and I caught him. And guys, if you were keeping track, that is the last of the Rainbow Shinies. I'll have all of their PNGs on screen just now, and show which colour that they all are associated with. I hope you enjoyed this challenge. It was definitely really fun to make, and I've enjoyed being back into the swing of making things. I do have another video I've got planned to come out that I've already recorded, and it's just a case of sitting down and getting it edited. Since I last posted it, it has been about 1.5 to 2 years, and I guess I'm just in a completely different place than I was before. I've got a new setup, a new microphone, and a new job, so I can spend more time making these videos and hopefully pump them out at some sort of a steady rate. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know down below, and have a nice day. Oh, I almost forgot the code word for our shiny giveaway. The first person to comment Grogu down in the comments, that's GROGU, will get the shiny Fletchender that was at the end of the video. If there are multiple comments and I'm tired, I'll try my best to find out who was first. But anyway guys, have a nice day.